The views expressed in this presentation are those of the hosts and guests and do not represent the views of any lodge, Grand Lodge, appended body, or any other person or persons whomsoever.
Brotherhood, we are at Refreshment.
I'm a cool guy, right? You know, we're cool. He's like, yeah. He's kind of weird.
Like that, just a bunch of old guys eating hashed over crock pot food. And
you're just not high enough up in the conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
And the potentate is right where you are. And what does he do? He just starts laughing his ass off.
Welcome to the At Refreshment Masonic Video Podcast. I'm your host, Wesley Reuter, and this is your place for Masonic mischief, libation, and fun. And when I mean fun, I mean fun. So let's get to the fun. Brock, you're a fun guy.
confirm.
No, he's not fun after that. Don't listen to him. Don't ever listen to him anymore. No, he's done. Yoshi, please.
Hi, guys.
Marty, I felt okay about this till Wes said fun a bunch of times. It made me real uncomfortable. So we can just move along now, Wes.
Leave it to Marty to spoil all the fun.
All of the fun.
Here's
Fun,
the
fun,
Keller.
fun.
Isn't it fun?
It's so much fun. It's a fun time, sir.
This is really
Yes, it
creeping
is
me
a
out.
fun time because, today we've had guests come and visit us.
Oh,
and they're
yeah?
actually fans of the show.
Really?
Yes.
Started off
Why
as
did you say
fans.
that Asian?
I don't know.
You were like, really?
I thought it sounded like Scooby-Doo.
Reggie? Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
that's what I was going for. You know?
I'm sorry.
Calm down there, Scrappy Doo, okay?
Yeah,
Sorry.
for that, do you have a cigar for me later?
I don't. I didn't go. I didn't have time.
You just failed me twice.
Oh, I didn't
All right, well, we have some fans down here. The first guy we're going to introduce.
Fans?
Yes. Not only are they fans of the show, but they have interesting stories on how they joined Freemasonry.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And we met them when we were in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yes, you may have
They
seen the
drove
posts.
out to Madison just to meet us, to come out and have dinner with us and hang out.
That's awesome.
It was a good
It
time.
was very awesome.
That's
Great
awesome.
hang.
Why weren't we there? We were doing something.
You guys were at
We're
Cryptic Council.
Yeah, we're at York.
Oh, yeah, we were at York Great stuff. Okay.
I thought you guys were just in the closet doing stuff to yourself.
Well, without further ado, I think we should bring on our guest, man.
Yes, our
who's
first
first?
guest.
Bob.
You're standing
Bob.
now. Bob.
Come on down, brother. Come on down.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out.
Absolutely, man.
How you doing, Bob?
What's up, brother?
Thank you. Thank you.
And before we get to all the important stuff,
First off, I'd like to say, Bob, that was a nice grip. I'd buy a used car.
Yeah.
You got like a Mazda Miata or something, reasonable price. You talk to me.
no.
Well, it's so weird sometimes. It's like growing up, being a kid. When you were taught, to shake a man's hand, you shook a man's hand.
Yeah.
And then, when you become a Freemason, you learn all these grips. It's not so easy sometimes.
Some Masons' hands are stuck permanently in that position.
Yeah, right.
So, but Bob, before we get to all the important stuff, how did you hear about the show? That's what I'm
Let's
excited about.
what lodge did you come from? What lodge did you come from?
I'm driving.
We gotta know what lodge you came from first. Where are you from?
Originally I'm here from the great city of Chicago.
Woo!
Moved up to Wisconsin after my wife did 2 tours in the Army.
Okay.
When you say the Army,
shout out to
you mean
her.
the Army, not
Yeah.
home, right?
Shout out to you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for
2
your
years in
service.
the Army. They ended up blowing out our back, so we ended up moving up to Wisconsin. Yeah, we started up there. Remember Reedsburg Lodge, number 79, Reedsburg, Wisconsin. And I am currently the secretary.
Oh, great.
Fun position, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a great position.
Exciting.
Yeah. I'm also past master twice.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Wow,
Awesome.
better.
Blue Lodge secretaries are like superheroes.
They are.
Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Big shout out.
So, excuse me. Before we get to the important stuff. Oh, I was waiting for you to cut me off.
Now we're correct. Yeah.
No, we're correct. Come correct.
How did you come across our show?
One of the other brothers in our lodge pointed, you got.
Oh, so you're blaming another brother right off the bat.
Exactly. I'm blaming our worshipful master this year because he just wanted to get me hooked. And
Cool.
Good.
Great.
I watched
Great.
the first one you were talking about hashed over crock pots, and it was like, all right.
You know,
All right, no,
and
that's
seriously, thank you for watching, and thank you for everyone to
Yes,
watching. And I
thank
think,
you.
and I think one of the coolest things the show has spurned is we've met a lot of people, and now we're at the point where we're making new friends across state lines. And they watch the show, but now they're part of it. And I think that's really cool. And I think it goes the whole evolution of what we're really doing.
Absolutely.
Trying to show the regular guy behind it, not walking around in cloaks, as I say. I mean, sometimes we do because we're acting in things, but it's not all that. The esoteric stuff and everything is great, but sometimes you got to remember there's an individual that has.
Well, there's a
life
deeper,
behind all that.
exactly. There's a deeper thing to Freemasonry that brings a lot of different people to the craft, and like especially yourself, you have a very unique and a very personal story that brought you to the craft. If you feel whatever you want to share about it, absolutely.
We're living down here in the city. My youngest son, who's now 28, my little baby who stands about 6'8", he actually towers over me. My wife and him were at a baby shower, and one of my mom's cousins was there, and he was trying to ridge run, but his feet were turned off to the one side. And here's a little picture of him. Can't believe he's 6'8".
Wow.
She goes, well, maybe you should take him to the Shrine Hospital. Well, both me and my wife worked for a private ambulance service here, and the company we worked for had a contract at the hospital.
Awesome.
To take kids from the Shrine Hospital down to Children's Memorial, because they were the only ones that had a pediatric MRI at the time. And, didn't dawn on us, and was like, all right, so we did the paperwork and got in there, and they said, well, he has mild cerebral palsy and, a couple other things. It was like, all right, so they started treating him, and he was having to start to wear braces. Then she ended up going into the Army. Excuse me.
That's contagious, right?
And then when she ended up getting out, we moved up to Wisconsin, and I was like, well, it'd be kind of really cool, to give back to the Shrine, because they've already, invested a couple of years into them already. And once we were well off on where we were living, we decided it was time for me to go ahead and join the lodge. And I one of the fellows I work with at the foundry up by us was a Mason, and I asked him, and he got me a petition, and here I am, 19 years later.
Wow.
19
all
years.
because of that one, charitable gesture.
Yeah.
That's
and I ended up, got in the lodge, and my thought was like, well, I'm going to join just to basically be a paper mason and do a lot of stuff with the Shrine. I did a lot of stuff the first couple of years, and I made the mistake of going back one night for past Masters night, and they said, well, how would you like to jump in the chair? I was like, all right, so.
It's a good place to jump.
Yeah. I said, well, we'll throw you in as junior deacon, and went from there. Junior deacon, senior deacon, and through the ordinance chairs, and then the master. And I took a year off, and then became the master again.
Awesome. Very cool.
The first time I was master in 2007 was actually the year we were celebrating our 150th anniversary.
Wow. A lot of lodges are coming up on that big 150.
And actually, our lodge is older than the city of Reedsburg.
Wow. That's very cool.
What was it? Just a territory?
Yeah, it was a little township before they became the city.
Wow. Okay.
That's interesting. Same building or?
No, I believe we've had several other buildings.
Okay. Well, you never know.
No. I mean, in Villa Park, we were about to hit our 100, and our building was built in what, the 50s?
Oh.
50, 53, but we were chartered. Villa Park Lodge was chartered in the 20s, the 24. Yeah. So it just
Yeah, it just depends.
Yeah.
So, your son, correct?
Yep, this is my son Eric.
Is he a member now?
Yes, actually, both my boys are.
Awesome.
Did you get to raise them?
I was there at the raising.
Okay.
That's just as good.
Yeah, that's just as long as you're part of the degree.
My oldest, he's actually the master of the Wisconsin Dells Lodge.
Oh, nice.
That's why you're asking about the Dells. Okay.
Nice,
nice.
Yeah, actually, the day of his 18th birthday, he goes, "Dad, all I want from you for my birthday is a petition."
That's
Really?
amazing. That's very cool. It sounds
good.
very
That's good.
familiar.
Yeah.
So
I think we've heard that story.
We were actually, I was a member of the Pipes and Drums band up in Zor Shrine, and we were going to go do a parade down in Edgerton. I said, I'll be your top line center. I said, you get one of the guys from the concert band, because he was still in high school and playing with the concert band in school. So you get one of the guys from the concert band from the Shrine to sign the second line.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's very
super
cool.
That's pretty cool.
And we basically did the same thing with my other son. For his 19th birthday, he wanted a petition. And
That's cool.
That's awesome.
exciting.
That is
All
awesome.
together.
just the two boys.
Two boys.
Okay.
That's good enough. I mean,
The full family. Good enough. Everybody's amazing.
you
man.
don't need a full litter.
I like he's like, oh, that's good enough. Like
good
Wes
enough.
is just walking around creating families. Like, that's all right. That's okay.
Wait till you guys get married. So, okay, you said one of your mom's cousins was a member of Medina Shrine here in Chicago.
Yep.
And you want to elaborate on that?
We've come down a couple of times. I came down and actually talked at one of Medina's shrine ceremonies about my kids and why I joined,
really?
joined the shrine. Yeah.
When? You can just make up a year.
Yeah.
We're not.
I don't remember the year. but-
Everyone knows we're not, we're not historians, so don't worry.
Bill Shank was potentate that year.
Oh, okay. I know the
Steve's
name.
dad.
I know the name.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll have to look next time I'm there and see
Steve
what
Shank's
year it
dad?
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually,
You guys can't see Marty's eyes, but I can see him. He's like, hey. He's getting excited on that. Yeah.
the Shank family were next door neighbors to my sister-in-law, and she was involved. Job's daughters, and her dad was a member of Medina at the time too. And he was one of the, I believe, founding members for the Flying Carpets.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Another interesting factoid. Steve Shank's sister, who I met once at some either beer garden or something. She was in the Job's Daughters in our building in Villa Park, Masonic Lodge, and we had a chapter.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of weird how we all just tied years of our lives together.
Right here it is, dude.
Yeah.
That's something else.
Chicago.
So
It's a small world after all.
It really is.
It really truly
I want to
is.
break out and sing it because actually when Marty was doing this, I was thinking, I'm all right.
Was he doing the Marty
It
dance?
was playing in my head when I
Was he
see
doing
the
the
doing
Marty
this.
the
When
Marty
was I
dance.
doing that? What are you not doing that?
What do you mean? You were just like, when you heard Steve Shank's name, you're like, woo! You were getting down over there. I'm like,
Wait,
that's why everyone was looking at you.
When someone says Steve Shank, I dance uncontrollably?
I guess you did.
Yes.
Hey, man, whatever you
Like,
do,
who?
bro, do you. Do you, boo. Do you, boo. Do you.
But you have brought some things with us.
Yeah,
You wanna
absolutely.
Tell us a little about it. I don't want to call them items, I guess.
Well, this was my son's very first brace
Wow.
from the hospital. He got that when he was like
Oh my gosh.
17, 18 months old.
Wow.
And then by the time he was,
So do they make these in-house or how? Because
I believe they do now.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot
I
about
know,
this.
because I've come down with several other patients, and we've had to take them to the hospital and then go over to the brace shop where they check them and make sure they fit right. And
Yeah.
and then this is his last one when he was 19 years old.
Wow.
And what years were these?
Could you try to describe a little bit about the purpose of like how or what the
Because
functionality?
His legs turned in, and
Mhm.
they did a couple of corrective surgeries.
Okay.
So basically, they took his feet and the muscles and stuff to turn him straight, so he walks. Basically, instead of walking drunk.
And the Shrine did all that.
Yes.
And now he's a big 6'8" Hulk Hogan looking happy healthy dude, man. That's awesome.
He drives.
It
He
does
has
look like a
full-time
restaurant.
job.
And the fact that he's a Mason and everything, the full circle is just so beautiful, man. Like, that's like kind of one of the cool, ironic things of the Shrine like that, where you see the commercials, you see the stuff, you cut the charity check, you go to the benefits, you go to the things. But it's one thing to actually see the devices and the things that the Shrine has made that have changed people's lives.
You know,
That's
same
nuts.
thing as meeting. Have you ever got to meet some of the kids?
Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah.
meeting some of the kids that you see on the commercials and meeting them in person and like like I mean I know it's real. I know the work is real. The charity
Yeah.
work is real. But meeting them and actually like having a conversation with them, and you're taken aback.
Yeah.
You are. You're taken aback, and
I've gone to parades and stuff, and I was like, wearing my fez and stuff, and I was like, little kids all coming up to me, was like, "Oh, thank you for for what you do and
That's
stuff."
amazing.
That's gotta.
What the Shrine Children's Hospital has done, and I'm not throwing shade on Lori's, I don't know the other ones really, but with the burn unit, and just go do a tour of any of those, and you will be so impressed by the approach to medicine they take.
Oh, dude.
No,
I do not
It's crazy.
have enough
Yeah.
good things to say about the Shriners Hospitals for Children.
Yeah.
I want to say 2 years ago, we had our ceremonies up in Plover, and we had the Imperial Potentate up there. And he mentioned that out of the 196 countries in the world, Shriners Hospitals treated kids from 176
Wow.
countries.
Wow.
It's awesome.
That is beautiful.
And in Chicago, we really feel it here because we have the Chicago Masonic Hospital,
Exactly.
which the Grotto operates their
Yeah, the
humanitarian
Advocate,
foundation
yeah.
out of, and then we have the Shrine Hospital here. These are just two monuments to the charity and the hope that's kind of their tagline: faith, hope, and charity.
Yeah.
100%.
There's really. That's always when you talk to people. The easiest thing to always kind of start with about Masonry is Shriners Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
and all the
Yeah,
impressive
everybody-
things it's done.
Everybody knows the shrine.
Everyone knows the shrine.
They don't know Freemasonry, but they know the shrine.
And then and then also too, what's funny is like when you're talking to somebody like, "Oh, I'm a Freemason," you get one or two things is like, "Oh," or "What's that?"
Yeah.
But you say Shriners, like,
Ah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Helping
great."
kids,
Helping
go-karts,
kids.
right
Yeah.
on.
Driving the little cars.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah,
Yep.
flying
the hat,
carpets.
the flying carpet,
Yeah,
and the
everything.
swords. It's like you guys are the parade guys.
Yeah, they all remember that.
Yeah.
You have
And then
one more thing here?
my other
Yeah.
son,
I know what that is.
he was starting to have back problems in his freshman year of high school. So that'd be about 03, 02, 03, something like that. Well, he ended up finding he had a really nasty S curve in his back.
Oh wow!
So he ended up starting to wear this.
And the shrine took care of that too.
Shrine took care of all that.
Yeah, I remember my father broke his back and he had something similar to that. Yeah.
If it wasn't for them, there's, even my insurance, I don't think I could have
Yeah.
afforded any of these. I
Right.
wouldn't even fathom what they're costing today now.
Yeah.
Well, and
This bag of
crazy.
sailing's like $8,000 though now.
But
The whole thing's
exactly.
falling
But
apart.
one of the craziest things is something that I've kind of looked into doing design work and stuff. Kind of thinking about how far could you take that to designing something like that, and nowadays with 3D printing and all this stuff, like this is literally life changing for families. That it's something that, like you're saying, you don't think about it in a daily life of the 9 to 5, the working, all this. And when you come across something with something so sacred as your child or something, you have something crazy that you're looking to correct like this. When you have the technology and the funds don't matter, the location, it's there, it's paid, it literally makes things like this possible where, normal hospitals, they might not take it that serious, or they might, if you don't have the money, you could be turned away or what looked upon different, where the Shrine Hospital is helping millions yearly. It's just so crazy.
I mean, we goof around on this show and we talk a lot about esoterics and different things like that. I mean, it interests us. It interests a lot of our guests here and there, but I also got to remember that's not just Freemasonry.
Yeah.
It's also the philanthropy.
We got to remember what
Doing
the
all
main
that
thing
good
is,
stuff.
and that is the charity work we do.
It's one thing learning all that stuff, but you also have to give back. And maybe, that's one way to do it is the hospitals and all that stuff.
How many times have we talked about, another letter for more money for something?
I understand.
But when you
that.
see that, though, when you see something like this, it kind of like hits you where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, man.
Well, this is one of the more visible ones.
Yeah.
Okay. And,
For
and I
sure.
admit, when it comes to Scottish Rite and other times in Freemasonry, sometimes you don't see it. Sometimes you do. When there, I think the last big thing that I seen was there were tornadoes or stuff down south.
Yep.
That was big.
Okay.
I always like the Cryptic Council's nursing program too.
Yeah, that's great.
When you see it, then it doesn't seem so bad. I guess when you don't see it, it's just like, okay again. But
Yeah.
that's just how it is. But with that, we're going to have to take a break, and we're going to bring somebody else. Bob,
Thank you for having me.
coming on.
Hey,
Thank
thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing this with us.
Not a
Yeah,
problem.
thank you.
And obviously, you're welcome to stay and watch the show, or
Oh yeah,
you can leave these other guys behind.
I got the car keys.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. When we left in the beginning of the show, we talked about Wisconsin guests, and we have another Wisconsin guest for you right now. John?
Come on in.
Johnny!
Absolutely. Welcome, man.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
I didn't want to say your last name because I know it. Oh, say that again, please.
Fuhlbohm.
Fuhlbohm. Okay. All right.
Well, tell us a little bit about, where you're from, the lodge.
Reedsburg 79.
What's your zodiac sign?
Yeah.
Aries, how'd you know? Reedsburg 79. Tonight, which should have been my last night as master there, but I'm here.
Oh, wow.
wow. Well,
Thank you.
I also
Exactly.
belong to
Thank
Franklin
you.
16, Sauk Prairie 113, and then for Oddfellow lodges, because apparently that's what I'm here for.
Absolutely.
51, but my home lodge is Portage 132, or also known as Winona 132.
Okay.
Rock and roll, dude.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
nice. And again, you started off as a fan and reached out to us and told us about the Oddfellows and told us a lot about them when we were up there in Madison when we had dinner.
Yes.
And you sent us this story. You know what? I'm not going to read it, but can you tell us a little bit about it?
Just break it down for us.
So, I met this gentleman several years ago that said, I'm a Mason. You want to become a Mason? I said, I think my great-grandpa was a Mason. And lo and behold, I became a Mason after many, many years because I had different jobs that, prevented me from going to lodge at night. And I finally got a job where I'd go to lodge, became a Mason. The first thing I did when I became a Mason, I went through all those lodge records because I knew my great-grandpa lived in the same town that I live in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know this because I live in his house. But anyway, I went through all the lodge records, and guess what? His name did not appear anywhere. So about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I Google searched myself. I have a unique last name. So, it should come out. I know what's on Google about me. But his name popped up. And in 1903, he traveled to Eau Claire, which was kind of a big thing back then on the train. And where did he go? He went to the International Order of Oddfellows Grand Lodge. He was an Oddfellow. He wasn't a Mason.
Okay.
But what we knew about him is he had a little book he studied. He had an apron, and Oddfellows also used to have aprons. They were curved at the bottom, not straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he did his little memory work, but he didn't tell the family much about where he went. Sounds like a Mason, though, doesn't it?
Right, yeah. That's the MO.
Absolutely.
He was an
Yeah, that is
Oddfellow,
so the
too.
MO right there.
But
Yeah.
he was an Oddfellow. So,
Awesome.
yeah. And then my mom's dad, who had died like in 1935, we had heard he was an Oddfellow, but
Wow.
so just really weird. I'm a Mason, but from an Oddfellow background.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Okay, so you joined the craft because you thought you had family members that
Yes.
were part of the craft.
Yes,
And then you find
exactly.
out that they were part of a different craft.
Yes.
Well, dude, talking about family and that, my cousin joined the Oddfellows in Wisconsin. Are you guys in the same lodge, right?
yes. He's one known at 132.
Zach.
Yeah.
Zach, we know.
Yeah.
You guys all know who we're talking about? And when he told me he was joining the Oddfellows, I was like, wow, that is so crazy. I don't know anything about it. And me and my cousin Zach had always, we kind of looked up to Freemasonry. We liked that. We kind of studied into that stuff. So once he joined Freemasonry and was already in the Oddfellows for a while, then he's like, oh, I've been, a lot of Masons have been asking me to join. And then, he started talking to me about joining. And that's when I, at the same time, a little synchronicity, met another Mason in my town and started going through Freemasonry the same time as his. And I just have heard so many great things about that, the Oddfellows Lodge, and about how unique it is and, the cool stuff you guys do for the town.
Yes, and it's funny. I actually met your cousin at Portage Masonic Lodge when he was just coming into the craft.
Yeah.
After he got his third degree. So we do a lot of stuff as like the Masons. like for Reedsburg, for example, our Masonic Lodge gives out scholarships. Well, so does our Portage and Baraboo Oddfellow Lodges. They give out scholarships. Last year, we donated some food and money for the food pantry. You know, we do charity. And the old joke used to be, and nothing against Masonry, but at one point they thought Masons weren't doing enough for charity. So then the Oddfellows came into play, and that's kind of a little joke there. But but then again, I have a past Grand Master from the state of Wisconsin that says, "Well, you know what an Oddfellow is? That's a poor man's Mason." That's our little joke.
Another poor man's something.
No one is a poor man's anything.
Yeah,
especially in Masonry.
Or, you know what, I don't know anything about the Oddfellows or the Oddfellows either.
Yeah,
every order has a right to stand on their own.
Yeah,
a grotto member's not a poor Shriner.
Let's hear it.
An Oddfellow's not a poor Mason. These are all worthy organizations, their own causes, their own interests.
Absolutely.
And the next person that says someone's a poor man's anything, you can find me. I'm not always on the internet.
So one of the historical aspects is just like the Masons, we started out in the 13, 14, 1500s, the guilds, the different tradesmen. And one of the reasons they thought we were called Oddfellows is because they thought it was odd that people that were struggling, kind of poor, were giving charity to people even less fortunate than them. That is one of the stories. How true is that? I don't know. But Oddfellows came out of England. In 1819, a gentleman by the name of Thomas Widely was in Baltimore, and he said, "Hey, I want to start Oddfellows in America." Now, there were already Oddfellow lodges in America, but they weren't very organized. So he put an ad in the local paper, and 4 people showed up. So there was 5 Oddfellows, and it all started from that and just grew. So
I kind of want to know the 4 people that see that in the paper. They say,
I know.
I'm an Oddfellow.
Yeah, it's like all right.
Honey, there's a doings that transpired. I want to see what
I
it
want to
is.
know how many showed up and like, oh, you mean an organization? I was just an odd guy.
Hey, look at man, all these fraternities, man. You got to be kind of odd.
Yeah.
You really do.
I guess
there's something.
There's an eccentric version.
Yeah. There you go.
But the Oddfellows have kind of held the secrets of Freemasonry in a few different times. I kind of feel like when we had the Morgan affair, like you were just talking about how you guys kind of ditched the aprons. Was that not from separating yourselves from Freemasonry during that Morgan affair?
You say that, and the growth of Oddfellows and kind of the fallout of the Oddfellows, where their population went way down. The growth, we believe, might have been because of the anti-Masonic movement in the 1830s, the Morgan affair.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Oddfellows.
The funny part is that Oddfellows have really gone down in population since the 1940s. And one of the reasons is this president named Franklin Delano Roosevelt came out with all these social programs to help those that are less fortunate. Social Security, great example. Keep people out of poverty, or help keep them out of poverty. Oh, by the way, what was FDR? Well, he was a Mason.
Absolutely.
Oh, and he was an Oddfellow, too.
Yep, he was.
Yeah,
Well,
he was.
hey, and another thing that we were talking about, Albert Pike.
Albert Pike.
Was first an Oddfellow before
For 10
a Freemason.
years.
Yeah.
For 10 years, yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, dude, back in the day,
Was there ever a fight for his body?
Yeah,
It sounds like a book.
I think the Scottish Rite just got
the
that.
Scottish Rite got his body.
But I don't know enough about the Oddfellows, and I wish I knew more. And I'm glad you're here to teach me. But one thing I've always heard, there's an old timer in our lodge, Larry Eccles, and he's an Oddfellow as well. And he has an old joke. He said, "Well, I used to get a guy into the Oddfellows so he could become a Mason, and then you get a guy into the Mason so he become an Oddfellow later." And just talking about how the groups used to actually be a lot tighter.
One of Wes's favorite things.
What am I?
Right here.
What is it? It says
in the
"We're
ritual
brothers
book,
and fellows have gone or come."
Yeah.
brothers and fellows.
Yeah.
And why would you say that? It seems very, very obvious.
Because it's in the first degree and it represents the lower degrees.
It seems odd. That's awesome.
it does. I mean,
so a lot of and years ago the Oddfellows, a lot of them shared the same building with the Masons.
Absolutely.
I've seen a lot of
Oddfellows.
that.
We do degrees. We all know what a Masonic petition looks like. If you want to grab that top That's an Oddfellows petition.
Could you explain the 3 links to me?
So friendship, love, and truth.
We have faith, hope, and charity.
Yes, isn't that
Okay.
kind of
And
ironic?
you have friendship, love, and truth?
Yes, and then there's 4 degrees. So the very first degree you take before the friendship, love, and truth degrees is called the initiatory degree. And believe it or not, in the Masonic degrees, we all know the last degree is probably the longest. And I'm not giving away any secrets here. And the Oddfellow degrees, the first degree is probably the longest.
Oh, that's convenient.
Which is kind of appropriate, though, that first initiatory experience, to really cast that wide like that.
Yes.
Maybe they just heard from a lot of past masters and Freemasons. Gosh, this is
And then,
how many people say that? Like, oh, let's just.
And then we have like a motto too. We bury the dead, we educate the orphan, we relieve the distress, and visit the sick. And some people might say, well, why do you educate the orphan? What's that about? Well, Thomas Wiley, again, let's go back to 1819 Baltimore. He was an orphan. And, years ago, well, a lot of people couldn't afford to be buried. Yeah. So the Oddfellows helped bury them. And if you go to cemeteries, you will see on a lot of headstones the 3 links. And a lot of times you'll actually see the square and compasses and then the 3 links.
Yeah,
I've seen that a ton.
I've seen that a ton.
Were there still a lot of Potter graves at that time?
I'm guessing.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And those are actually coming back in vogue.
Potter's grave?
No, they are. Look into it. Yeah.
No, Pauper's graves are that's still
That's becoming a thing again.
That's never really
It's a
ever
hipster trend.
No, it's never really been out. I mean, it's what happens. It's always been.
You know the world's largest pauper's grave?
No.
What?
Walt Disney World.
Oh, I've actually
Because
heard this.
everyone dumping their ashes there.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
Dude,
yeah.
they have cleaning crews that come in there.
they developed a special vacuum or whatever.
Yeah, the haunted mansion,
and that
dude.
jacked up like that. I mean,
Ugh.
look it. I
I'm
love
not
Disney
trying to
World.
breathe it when
I
I'm
love
on
the
the
haunted
roller
mansion
coasters,
ride,
though,
but I don't
man.
want my ashes spread there. That's
Dude,
weird.
I want mine.
That's
If
weird
I
to me.
liked it enough,
I want
wouldn't
mine dumped
care,
right
yeah.
at the corn dog stand.
I want mine sprinkled on the popcorn like salt. There you go.
Yeah.
Like
on the popcorn.
I'm just saying. I'm
just
what
saying.
I'm saying.
I haven't decided
I'm
what
saying
I'm going
what
to do
I'm
with my
saying.
body. I really have no idea.
Well, there's actually one thing I'd like to touch on. And there's something in 2019, everything you hear progressive and this and that and gender and all this crap I don't like to hear about, but that's me. I'm an old curmudgeon. Now, Oddfellows are now intergender in the lodge, aren't they?
Ooh, great.
Yes.
Yes.
So women can join. Matter of fact, my wife, she's the noble grand of Winona 132.
Yeah.
And
We met her in Madison.
And she will remind the worshipful master of Reedsburg 79 that she is the noble grand. And we all have to do one of these.
Yeah.
And, but yeah.
Do you think now, I know that's kind of newer in the realm of the Oddfellows.
About last 19 years, roughly.
Well, in Masonry or Oddfellows, I'm sure that's still new, technically.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all just discovering Facebook. But why was that originally done? And I'm not trying to be negative when I say that. Was it because of declining membership, or what was it?
And I can't speak for that time period. I wasn't an Oddfellow back then, but I believe they were trying to improve membership. Now, like Eastern Star for the Masons,
How many?
so the Oddfellows always had the Rebeccas, but the Rebeccas have kind of died out too. Okay. And if you go to a lot of lodges, the Eastern Stars are pretty much gone, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're getting there.
What is I don't know how to say this, auxiliary or whatever, the offshoot of the shrine version
The
of
Muscovites?
Yeah. No.
Well, yeah, I met those guys. We'll leave it at that. But anyway, we'll talk later. But so we have the militant patriarchs, the encampments, the Rebeccas, and then the Oddfellows. Basically, the 4. I think they're looking at combining the militant patriarchs and the encampments kind of together, maybe in the future.
Can you tell us a little bit about what each one of these bodies does, or kind of what its purpose is, kind of?
Well, I only belong to the Oddfellows, although my dear wife has told me that we're going to both become Rebeccas. Because men can become Rebeccas too. Please don't call me Rebecca on the air. But anyway, so Rebeccas is just basically the women's organization started in 1851 by the guy by the name of Schuyler Colfax, who at the time was vice president of the U.S. And then the militant patriarch and the encampments, kind of an offshoot of the military
Is that would be
type.
the equivalent of our Knights Templar?
Yeah, Knights Templar.
I was going to say
Knights
it's
of
like a
Knight.
commandery.
Commandery,
kind of
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and you have to remember, like Masonry and Oddfellows, they're almost like on a parallel road.
Yeah.
And even earlier, we were talking about, the skull is a symbol in both. The all-seeing eye.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when was the last time you heard about the Oddfellow conspiracy to take over the world? You don't.
No.
So guess who really is the original secret society? The Oddfellows. Anyway, but think about it. I mean, yeah, you don't. I've asked a lot of Oddfellows. I said, anyone ever say you guys want to take over the world? And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, well, in the Masonic world, we hear that all the time, and it kind of drives you nuts. But the Oddfellows, they don't even touch. The beehive, for example, the beehive.
Mm-hmm.
The Oddfellows use that too as a symbol.
But
A number of organizations use the same symbols as Freemasonry.
But everything you were talking about, that's really, and go back to that esoteric tip, that's a lot of the stuff that's always kind of been talked about and passed down. And I think it's kind of cool that both of our organizations really hold on to the old idols so strongly.
Yeah. It was funny. I just got into the Blacklist a couple of years ago.
You got blacklisted?
No, the show on NBC.
Oh.
You're welcome for the plug. In the first season, somebody dies and they're at an old cemetery, and you can see it plain as day. The square and compass with the 3 links right underneath.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat. And you're right. You do see them on a lot of older gravestones and stuff. And this gravestone was obviously older, but
like we were talking
you don't
about,
see that
you
too
meet
much anymore.
you're both meeting in the same lodge. It's same as, a lot of independent bodies meeting.
But why has that stopped?
That I don't know.
Brock, you do know, and I want you to tell everyone out there in America and all over the world right now.
Well, I can tell you guys, everybody, that I don't know.
He's a liar. But it's, I don't know. I wonder how we ever
I only
fell
know
off
of
of
like
that
2
plate.
Oddfellow lodges even left around here.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was telling you. There's
one
only
in
a
We were
few.
so
Brookfield
linked
and
together.
one in
How
Elgin.
did
Yeah.
it fall apart? I mean, I know we're not going to solve it right now, but it's very odd.
Yes.
Well, maybe what we could leave at the end of this is, if you're an Oddfellow, go hug a Mason. If you're a Mason, go give that Oddfellow a little hug.
So, funny you say the hug. So, in a Masonic lodge, you guys all shake hands before the meeting. Mm-hmm. You guys ever go around and hug each other and say, hey, thanks for coming to the meeting?
Only when I pants
we
off.
do.
It depends on the brother, because some brothers don't like that.
You got to do the fist bump.
Yeah.
So actually,
I'm all like this, and it makes Brock uncomfortable.
Yes. So actually, this year in our lodge, I'd go around. The senior warden and I would go around and give everyone a hug or a big handshake and say, "Hey, thanks for coming to lodge. It's great you're here because we need members and we need people that are active, and we love it when you show up." Where did I learn that? In a Janesville Oddfellows Lodge. And those guys were awesome when they did in that Oddfellows Lodge, and we started in our Masonic Lodge. Now, is it going to continue? I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's a nice little touch.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. I'm
It's
super down.
very cool. Yeah, it's cool to see that you guys are the same and different, but yet we're so synchronized together that it's very unique.
It's kind of like hot dogs and hamburgers. They're really the same thing. They're both at the barbecue.
They're both a sandwich.
They are.
They're both considered a sandwich. So.
Put mustard on either of them, but they're both a little different.
So I know that we're kind of crunching time here, but there is something very unique that we don't have the advantage of here in Illinois that some other lodges do have with chambers of reflections and human skulls and skeletons and things like that. And I know the first time I met you when we were in Madison, I definitely had a lot of skeleton questions to ask about the Oddfellows because all I've ever heard about is these crazy scenarios of people finding old Oddfellow lodges and finding caskets and skeletons and
skulls. Can you talk about this?
Well, I can say that they have been found in old Oddfellow lodges.
And the conspiracy continues.
Lodges. And I will say, and I'll give a plug to our Grand Master for the state of Wisconsin, Oddfellows, Jeff Jones. As Jeff told me about a week ago, he says, those guys ask you about any secrets of the Oddfellows, you tell them they got to join to learn.
Right now, if I had the money and time, believe me, I would, because I am very interested.
I want to
in
know the
Oddfellows.
secret.
It's
I
very
would
cool.
join
If there's 4 more
If
degrees
not
out
anything,
there, I need them.
I just want the 3 links underneath the square compass. I think that's just, I mean,
Yes.
pretty
That's
neat.
awesome.
But yeah, there's a lot of neat things. And
Yeah, and it's cool because my wife and I can go to the lodge together. And now my wife,
Yeah.
shockingly, grew up in a Masonic household.
wow.
Her dad's an Oddfellow. Her brother's an Oddfellow. Her husband, obviously, is an Oddfellow. And her one son is a Master Mason. Her other son is a Fellow Craft.
Was she ever part of the girls' organizations? in
Never.
Freemasonry?
Never.
Wow.
Nope.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. Totally.
But to get a chance like that, like you said, she's the head of the order there.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
that's an appealing thing to have.
Well, one more quick thing. What finally made her decide to join?
Me. Well,
Pretty
me
simple.
and her father. Her dad is a 35-year Mason, very well known in the southern part of Wisconsin. And she used to, he used to always kind of tease her, well, you can't come to lodge. So now she belongs to a lodge where, guess what? He can't come to unless he joins. And he'll never join, unfortunately. But yeah. So it's kind of like little,
That's
amazing.
neat. It's
It's a
pretty
cool
Yes.
story.
I'm definitely interested in Oddfellows. Well, tell all your Oddfellow friends. We're
Yeah.
Oddfellow friendly.
And all you Masons, look for an Oddfellow.
Well, and I've recruited Masons to join the Oddfellows, and just recently I had an Oddfellow that is now, he's going to become a Mason.
Cool.
I've
That's
recruited
awesome.
from both sides, so yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Why not? I mean, we're all trying to accomplish the
Yeah,
same.
we're
Yeah.
going for the same goal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we got to take a break. And
Thank
John,
you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming on. Thank
Absolutely.
you for watching the
Thank
show.
you.
brothers.
Driving
Thanks
all
for
the way out
driving
here.
down.
sharing all
Yeah.
that with us, dude. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're going to take another break, and we'll be back with extra innings again, I guess. So we'll be right back.
Jesus
And we're
Christ.
back with Marty freaking out for whatever reason. I think he's broke. I don't know.
Just so happy about podcasting.
What was that?
All right,
little
let's
R2
restart.
What was that
right
little
there.
R2D2? Whoa!
I don't know,
Do
dude.
another
Like some days I just wake up and I pinch myself and I can't believe that I'm a part of Ad Refreshment Masonic video podcast.
That's true. So with that, we got one more Wisconsin guest for you.
No, we gotta start over, dude.
Are you
No,
serious?
I say we go with that.
Brock is all nervous over here, and yet he's the one laughing the hardest for whatever reason. So, all right, let's bring our next guest on, Kevin.
Come on in, Kevin. Come on down, brother.
What's up, brother?
Brother.
Welcome.
Kevin.
Thank you for coming down, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for having me.
Kevin,
yeah,
and your last
absolutely.
name, I don't want to butcher it.
Schumann.
Schumann. Okay,
Schumann.
there we go.
All right, hit us
Got
with,
cobblers in the family, or
I am a fan of shoes if you haven't seen,
Yeah,
Hey,
you
you got some fancy shoes
yeah,
on, man.
Get on there.
butterflies and flowers on today.
Nice.
Courtesy of Steve Madden plug.
Hey.
What are you just pausing?
You're happy.
Neutral color.
I mean, you're happy. You're welcome.
Yes.
Happy.
What
Yeah.
the heck was that?
I don't know.
So, Scottish Rite is your thing.
It is.
Right on.
I started actually Wausau, Forest Lodge 130. Met a character up in Wausau there as I moved up there, and came into the place I was working as contracted service.
Okay.
Very cool cat. Had the square and compasses on, and kind of like, first question, you're a Freemason? Yes, I am. Had that personality you gravitate to, right? So kind of Joe Pesci style.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. It's like, yeah, I am. And he turned out to be my first line signer. Ended up, he's, after, being raised, Scottish Rite told me about, and joined in. He's a director of the Eau Claire, Scottish Rite Valley. Director of the work. Just strange character, but he, makes
Are we
you feel
all?
welcome. Oh, yeah.
Aren't we all?
We're all unique.
Hey, we just had an Oddfellow on. I mean,
Right. And thanks to Oddfellow, introduced me to your podcast or videocast.
Great.
Yeah, it's both. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so-
Thank you.
Plug. But yeah, got involved in Scottish Rite. This year, I am the most wise master of the chapter of Rose Croix. Been installed.
Very
So
cool.
Nice.
yeah. So in my short 5 years of being a Mason, moved up in Scottish Rite.
God, that's like the number, man.
It's always
5 years.
Yeah.
That's the number. God, that's something.
It's the Masonic.
Yeah, it's like
the Masonic number.
Yeah.
But no, if you're like dedicated for 5 years, you get put into something.
Yeah, it's like automatic. Hey, like there's like a secret group
There's
within
a
the secret
10-year group,
organization.
too, yeah.
He's like, hey, he's been here 5 years. Get him in there. Get him in that line.
Yeah, what East is open right now?
Yeah.
Right.
So, why Scottish Rite?
It's it's a theatrical version of the history of what we're made of as a fraternity, as an organization. You learn about the 4 chaplains, just some great ways of learning. So some people learn by book, some people learn by video, some learn by doing, some learn by theater, seeing it and feeling it. So Scottish Rite is that. I enjoy, concerts, theatrical, things. So Scottish Rite's that for me. So I got to be involved with some of the degrees, and they turn out to be fun. It's a lot of hard work, but the hard work that goes into it makes it worth it because the people that are doing that work are dedicated, and it means a lot when you're sitting on this side of the table and you're seeing it. And being part of that, then you get to be on, doing it in the costume and the makeup and, doing the lighting, things like that. It's, it's entertaining. It's rewarding. There's every day is just an experience with it. Eau Claire does 2 weekends a month for their reunion. So it's 2 Saturdays.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they break it up a little bit. I know Madison, you guys made it up the same weekend. That was
Absolutely.
Eau Claire's.
Yeah, they had one, I think, the Wednesday before we went.
Yep.
Yeah, so they break it up a little bit so it gives you a little time, but still, it's still some rock on degree work, and-
Absolutely.
So
I love the Scottish Rite.
Do you do the acting or
Yes.
what do you do? Oh,
Yep. Okay. I've been involved in several degrees.
What's your favorite degree to do?
4 chaplains. I'm Father Washington in the 4 chaplains.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
I got a question for you. Because like me and him have talked about this before. Now, you ever have to wake up early in the morning and you're driving to go do a degree and you're just like the whole time you're like, I don't want to be doing this. I'm tired. Oh, I should be sleeping. But then once you get there, that all goes away, right? And you're just happy to be there, right?
Once the adrenaline hits, and then you're like,
Yep.
Excuse me while I fix my
you're
beer.
fine. Oh, you're fine.
Fix my beer here. So.
Yeah, I know Brock and I have done.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Oh, a little premature.
There it goes. So,
Yeah, I know Brock and I have done some small acting in the Scottish Rite and stuff. It's pretty fun.
Did a few
I mean,
degrees.
it's not just entertaining, but to do it a little bit differently than like a 3rd degree or something, because it's not. Well, I don't want to say our rituals are stiff, but they're just more straight to the point. Scottish Rite seems like there's a little bit more freedom because you don't have to say everything word for word.
Yeah.
Right.
You have some
There's
leeway.
interpretation everyone could have with the character.
Yeah.
Being I'm not Scottish Rite, I'm not a Shriner, but being Grotto and being in the York Rite, it is a little bit more relaxed than doing the Blue Lodge degree. The Blue Lodge degrees are serious.
It's by the book.
It's by the book. It's serious, and it should be.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it away from I'm not trying to take away from that, but it should be. When you're going through your degrees, it's an important thing you're going through. You're doing something that brothers before you have done. Brothers, like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, like and countless
George
other,
Washington Carver.
and George Washington Carver, and to think about that, they all went through it, they all did it, and it's pretty much the same, but to take away from not to take away from that, but when you go to the other stuff, I've heard that it's more relaxed, it is more fun.
Mm-hmm.
You're having a good time with it.
I know this sounds kind of weird. I always take it in a way that you hedge your. I'll go full Pink Floyd. You had your meat.
Amen.
Now you get your pudding. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Yeah, you do get to play around with the characters and stuff. I mean, if the director lets you, and most of them do, because most of them like just remember your lines and show up.
Most of them are happy they have a cast.
But dude, it kind of breaks it up.
It is a production, but then again, it isn't.
In other words, you would sit there in the audience and watch the degrees all day, but when you participate in the degrees and you can get up there and you go the set before, you do wardrobe, you get all set up, and then you hang out. And, I don't know if you guys have, but at our valley we have like a little green room that we can all hang out, and there's like a TV, you can kind of see the degree going, and it kind of just breaks it up where like I haven't been in the Scottish Rite too long, a couple of years now, but it's really cool to watch a degree and then be like, oh, I got to go to costume. I got to get ready to go to the next degree. And then the new guys are like, ooh, they're excited. There's that elusiveness of you leave the degree and then you go back and then you're on the stage and then you come off the stage and you come back. Like that whole cool thing, it really mixes up the day where you're not just sitting there either watching degrees all day or whatever the circumstance is. It kind of mixes it up where it's cool.
Now, do you guys do a stage, or are you guys in the round or
stage?
Stage.
Yep. Yeah, we got a full theater, lighting, sound, everything, and the valley actually rents it out for weddings and
okay. That's very cool. Do you guys have a dyslexia center there?
We do.
Oh,
yep.
very nice. Very cool.
Yeah, it's a big deal up there.
When we were in Madison, that's what they said, that their dyslexia center is like one of the most popular things there. It's a really big hit, and it's really saving that building and all that kind of stuff.
That's great.
Well, and something we haven't got to talk to you guys that too much about, but especially with you, the Madison Scottish Rite building was sold to the Grand Lodge of Wisconsin, right? Mm-hmm. So now that kind of operates through that. So how is your guys' building in scale and size? Is it a big building?
It is. There's I want to say there's 3 lodges that operate out of there.
I've only seen the photographs of it. I haven't seen it in purpose, or in the action of a reunion, where the people are hustling and bustling. You can really see it.
Yeah, if we can find some decent pictures, we'll try and put them for you guys.
Yeah, the lodge is big, or the building is big. It's got a full dining and 3 floors, so it's got several lodges that operate out of there. Scottish Rite, full theater, good stadium seating kind of, but full lighting, sound. That's a beautiful building. Obviously there's the attic that you get into, and there's the old the gun range up there. It's, you can see the targets
gun range.
There used to be a 22. They used to shoot gun range up there. 22s, and there's I don't know if I should be saying this, but
yes, say it. This is what the podcast is for.
It's and there's a target at the end of the top of the attic, and then you can go over to theater, but down the end you can see where all the
I love lodges that have secret stuff like that.
Yeah.
We have a lodge in Chicago. It's not zoned for this, so I'm not going to say which one it is, but there's apartments in there that people live in. Once we get off the air, I'll tell you which one it is.
I like how you say off the air like we're live, right? That's so funny.
The show isn't live? That wasn't fair. So let me ask you. So there's 4 principal bodies of the Scottish Rite.
Yeah.
What and you're sitting in what chair for the Rose Croix?
Rose Croix, most wise master.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, were you drawn to that particular part, or was it just kind of get in where you fit in?
I was following how Wausau Forest Lodge was, the line was going, because our lodge kind of progressed through that to begin with. So naturally, I took it at the bottom of the line and progressed through the chairs, and now I'm there, and it's like, wow, this is pretty cool. Being part of the council, and every day it's you're learning more and more, and gets you more and more involved too. That's awesome. I think the opportunities are there to be part, and you hear what other valleys are doing, and you can integrate those, and just you become part of the bigger picture of the state.
Yeah.
So,
and that's huge.
Yeah.
That's like kind of what we were talking about another episode before, with the grotto stuff, talking about the traveling and seeing those bigger bodies or being part of that next. It's not some elusive thing. It's as simple as just asking or wanting to be part of something like that. And like you're saying, you step in that bottom line and you just work through the chairs and go through it all. And you really get to see a wide range of like everything that's offered from a valley like that.
Yeah.
So have you traveled to other valleys?
From Scottish Rite, I have not. Blue Lodge, I have. I have visited San Luis Obispo in California.
Nice.
Got to see a fellowcraft degree out there.
So how is California? Because I picture it, everyone's in shirts and shorts and sandals.
San
My
Luis-
dad's a TV repairman. Got a wicked set of tools.
You want me to fix the cable?
San Luis, when I showed up there, they were all suited up. Very formal, very rigid on their degree work.
Cool.
It was they were very welcoming. So it's very cool to see and travel to lodges. And I'd like to get to other valleys, especially from a Scottish Rite perspective. There's been talk about doing a Scottish Rite degree in other valleys.
That's amazing.
Taken from Eau Claire to the Green Bay Valley. So
I've heard a lot about Green Bay. That's so kind of break down how many valleys do you guys
right now, it
have?
seems there's a ton in Wisconsin.
there's 5 now.
No, there's not too many.
Yep.
Well, compared to our state, we got like 7 or 8.
Yeah, something crazy.
Maybe 9. I don't know. I thought it was
We have a lot.
We have a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I mean, again, I'm not.
Yeah,
I know. You're not
Scottish.
Scottish, or you're not privy to it.
No.
Maybe some other time.
Maybe.
Maybe you can join us.
You gotta join.
No, I'm done right now from joining anything.
Yeah, you're in everything.
I'm in too much right now.
You're getting
I need to-
West
You still got to learn
Yeah,
how to
West
use that sword,
territory.
buddy.
Yeah, I know. I do. I know. Yeah, I remember.
Still got to learn how to use your sword.
Yeah. Read us that night. Be like, hey guys, just so you know, you new guys, there's the seats open.
Who bought his pen?
Oh, your pen.
All right.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
pen. Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's
No.
why I'm like, what are you talking about, Dave? Just shut it up.
So that is a. You guys noticed it's deer
Not
antler.
a pen.
That's deer antler.
Custom made.
I turned that from deer antler.
You made that?
Yeah, here, check it out.
That's pretty
Yeah,
neat.
we check it.
Oh,
But look at the
I'm-
tiger's
oh, wow.
eye stone on the
That's
top.
It's
a
it's
murder
beast.
weapon.
So how many
I
pins
shouldn't have
have you
said
made?
that.
Have you made a lot?
I have.
Oh man, this is beautiful.
That's pretty neat.
That is beautiful, bro.
I'd say well over 50.
Wow,
So,
50
yeah,
of them. That's
You made 50
amazing.
of these?
I did.
How would you sell these?
How
for?
many deer did it take?
That was one. One. If
One
it's a
whole
good
deer went into this?
Well, at least one of his antlers did. Yeah.
All right, calm down. All right.
So, but yeah,
We're not
it's-
vegans on this show. So.
So this is obviously it's heavy, but affinity for pens started a couple years back when obviously the pen is mightier than the sword.
Absolutely.
So-
Well, that one sure is.
yeah.
Well, that one down.
Yeah.
So I started turning them because like I said, it's it feels good to have a good pen.
Yeah.
And when you're doing some signing on things and documents.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And for everyone listening on the podcast side, and you can't see this,
It's
watch
cool,
it on
man.
YouTube.
Yeah.
This is our way to get you to
And all
watch
that, I
and
just
subscribe
love the
on
fact
YouTube.
that you just said the phrase, it feels good to have a nice pen.
Yeah.
Wes has a nice Masonic pen, and every time
Well,
he
it's
pulls it
over
out,
there.
I'm like,
It's over there.
man, who carries an ink pen around?
It's Wes.
Digital age, millennium.
All right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now I look at
That's
that, and I'm
pretty
like,
neat.
Yeah,
that is
so-
Now that you see that and you feel it,
that is a work of
Yeah,
art.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I want one. Like that is a beautiful pen.
It's
That-
not
that
like
is-
an iPad, huh?
No.
No.
It's pretty neat.
And next time you get a whole deer, let me know.
Yeah.
Well,
venison
Wisconsin are easy
steaks.
to come by.
Yeah.
Can you make mine out of 2?
Yeah.
So, what makes you stick with Scottish Rite?
Wow. The uniqueness of characters. I mean, the people, the brothers that are there. Being involved with obviously moving up the chairs, but the degree directors up in Eau Claire are just a couple of guys that are so unique. Like this last reunion, they came down to the banquet dressed as Kiss.
And he showed me the pictures. It's amazing. It literally looks like Kiss.
Yeah, and one of the guys, they made their costumes out of expanding foam. So like I said, they not only take it to the degree work, but outside of the degree work, they take it to that level. Spring reunion, they were dressed as Elvises.
Nice.
I mean, who couldn't love that, right?
Well, it's something unique and cool. It's a memorable experience that, you're like, what in the heck is going on with this?
Yeah. So that draws you to the Scotch Rite, and then you want to share that too, because it's fun. It adds light to it. Even though you spent the whole day putting in so much work trying to memorize lines, being nervous as hell, and then you get to see that, and it's rewarding because that's what's fun. That's what makes it fun. So
absolutely,
that's awesome, dude. I'm happy you just came on and talked. You're cool, man. I like you.
Thank you.
I'm like pretty pumped up about all of our guests today.
Oh yeah,
which is so weird because, dude,
that was very John Belushi
this is a gnarly set of guests we've had today. I mean, it's not likely that every one of our guests comes from a different state.
No,
that's wild.
Yeah, we have the New York people, Wisconsin people,
and if our viewers haven't figured out, we record 2 episodes all in one sitting. So we did just record
this episode though is truly
Victor Mann,
special because we had people that were fans of the show that are now 100% a part of the show's lineage and history.
Yeah. I mean, it means a lot to me. I'm going to go home and cry on my pillow, but it means a heck of a lot to me. I feel like
heck yeah,
I've actually accomplished something that at least 3 people like. So maybe 4, but other than us, it's a great feat. Or no, you're saying 5? Is the number growing?
We're still growing.
We're still growing.
That's good.
I think it's about time to call our other 2 guests back.
Yeah,
it
come
sure
on
is.
back, guys.
John, Bob, come on back.
Give a big shout out to you guys from Wisconsin, man.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for coming down, man, and making the trip, getting the room, coming and hanging out, spending the time with us, man.
Even though
being on the
you
show.
guys are just Illinois, Canada.
Yep.
Just remember,
thanks for taking my line. That was good, dude. I like that.
Well, at this shout out and shots out, we're giving you guys the opportunity to give it to someone.
Here's our shout out to our past Grandmaster, poor old Pedley, Scott Pedley.
Hey, Scott, we met you in Madison, brother.
We remember you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, don't trip that.
Look at you, Pedley.
It's so full, man.
Yeah, ours are really, really full.
Yeah,
so let's be careful.
Incredibly
here.
full. I can't even cheers.
I'm just going to make chink sounds. Chink,
ching, 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 ching. All right, same time.
Guys.
And here we go.
Thank you, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
That's still my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, that was sweet.
We have time for one more shout out.
Sure, hit it.
So we have a district. We're in District 8 in Wisconsin. So we have a district deputy grandmaster. His name is Dan Grilla, but we all call him Danny Pooh. And Pedley loves that name. Pedley, every time he sees him, hey, Danny Pooh, how's it going? So let's give a shout out to Danny Pooh.
Hey, Danny Pooh!
Thank you.
I just pretended I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that. You got a drink right in front of you.
I had like a little wine juice in the bottom of that one.
Well, with that, everyone, thank you again for watching another episode of the Refreshment Masonic Video Podcast.
Yeah.
If you haven't subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, iHeartRadio, all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll be back with more later on.